have to execute like your life depends on it. Like that's the last thing. Like execution is the one key. Execution and mindset are the two things you need at all to succeed, period.
Welcome everyone here to Business to Ventures. I have David from co-founder of DAVA. So hey, go ahead and say.
Yeah, so I'm David, co-founder of DAVA. We founded DAVA 2019. Really just, I consider myself a businessman, a boxer, an athlete, and a hard worker, most importantly. So.
All right. So what had led you to just starting DAVA? Like, were you going to school, or was it just kind of a?
So, as I was raised by like a Latino family, like background, right? Never really grew up with much. And I've always worked hard, like definitely like keyword, like I was a hard worker. If I was going to college, I was, working hard, like very, very hard. I went door to door sales, and so I kind of just followed the lead, and so in college, like I was dating a girl at the time that convinced me to go to college. I was still wanting to go to college. It was just that, I didn't go for the first year, and she was the one that got me registered and got me going to college. So like I was giving my 100% like I do in everything in life. Like when I was going to college, I was going to college hard. And so I met my best friend Vale, which is another co-founder of DAVA, and he was very entrepreneurial minded. So he was like, I don't want to go to college, but I'll go just to succeed, right? Oh, wow. But he had like a better vision of like where he wanted to go in life. And I just like, if I say, like, if someone tells me go to college, I'll go to college and I'll do it good. Yeah. If someone tells me go train boxing, I'll box, which I have a fight in May, actually, in 2 months. Oh, wow. And so it's like I go 150%. And so when he approached me, he told me, hey, day trading, we should, pursue this entrepreneurship lifestyle. And me being the hard worker I am, I'm like, sure. Yeah. And I went like 150%. The minute I decide I'm going to do something, I commit to it like 150%. So that's kind of how it started. And eventually it evolved to being a company that has nothing to do with day trading. We, edit videos. We work with content creators, so.
Okay. And so from what I've seen from your social media and stuff like that, so is it marketing, or what more? Can you give us more details of your actual DAVA market? Is it not DAVA Marketing?
It's DAVA.
DAVA.
Yeah. The entity is called DAVA Marketing, but that's a big misconception. People think it's DAVA Marketing. It's actually just DAVA. Okay. But DAVA is a creative company. So we edit videos, we edit social medias, we do thumbnails, graphic design for a lot of the biggest creators in the world, like Jake Paul, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Lily Sabri. We just signed Brooke Monk from TikTok. And like 100 Thieves, so many clients. And we're like 100%, not 100%, but I say like we are the creatives in these creators' companies. So all the videos you see, we edit them. All the like thumbnails you see, we edit them, So we don't like we do manage social medias as well too for certain clients, but we're like, I'd say like 90% of our revenue comes from the creative side of things, because we have like a big video editing team and we have a very big graphic design team, and that's primarily where all of our revenue comes from. Mm-hmm.
So when you said, so you started off like with day trading, and then kind of led into your current business. So was it abroad, like as far as like what you would do in your business in DAVA, or was it more like you had already narrowed your mind on, okay, it's just gonna be like content creator? How did you end up going to where you're at now?
It was definitely not like I just knew what I wanted to do. I would like from heart, I'm an engineer, I'm a mechanic, I'm a like math guy. I am not a video editor. I never was. Okay. And so my best friend, he was a video editor. Vale, he's the co-founder. And essentially what happened was, we, like I said, our journey started as just day trading. Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to make money and I want to live a successful life. That's literally how it started. Yeah. And so when we started day trading, what happened was we found a client that was also a day trader and that was making YouTube videos, and his YouTube video sucked. So Vala basically told me, he's like, look, man, we can like edit this guy's videos for free and like help him with YouTube in exchange for free mentorship and day trading. And we're like, that's a great plan, So we started editing his videos for free, and Vale was the only video editor in the company. Well, like it wasn't even a company; it was just me and him saying we can get free mentorship in exchange for working on his videos. Oh, wow. But like I couldn't let my friend do all the work because he was the video editor. I wasn't. So, I remember sitting at my day job with him. He sat next to me and he told me, hey, like the truth is I need some help with these videos. And I'm like, I know, I've got to learn. So he started teaching me, and, it wasn't until like, I'd say like 6 months into editing videos for other like day traders that we realized DAVA was the business. Like I've had like 6 failed businesses from like Amazon FBA, drop shipping. We tried a vending machine business. And the list goes on, day trading, obviously, you know, and like I failed a lot, but it wasn't like we were making, I'd say like maybe $2,000 a month from editing videos. It wasn't a lot like life changing, but it was like, damn, like,
Still
this
something.
can do something, you know, like why are we trying to make money with all this other stuff? Why don't we just double down on what's working for us right now?
Right.
And so I didn't purposely come in thinking, oh, I'm going to create a creator company. I just came in like, I'm going to offer free services to get free mentorship in order for me to learn. And then other day traders saw the success. We're bringing this client and they basically told me, hey, I'll pay you $200 a month to do the same thing. It's like, sure. So they paid us $200. And the way we saw it was like, with this $200, we're going to invest it into the stock market, like day trading, you know, so that way we're not losing any of our own personal money. And that's how it all started, which is brought in more and more clients for day trading. And it wasn't until like 6 months later that I realized I'm like, this is it, you know? And even when we found what we wanted to do, we were still trying new avenues, which was stupid. You know, it's like, what, like, we were trying to start a wedding website business during DAVA, right? Like the DAVA was just what was funding our entrepreneurship. Okay. You know, it's weird. It's weird to think about now, but you know, eventually we shifted our mindset. It's like, nope, this is it.
Well, I like what you said about failing, right? Because I feel that's kind of hearing some when I talk to friends, you know, family, and they're like, oh, I failed at this, I'm going to give up, you know. But it's just you continue with going, and that's kind of growing different skills and leading you on to different things and now it's to kind of where you're at with your company. So I really like, you know, how you really explain that. And also the reinvesting part, because you know, it's like you could have done something else like with that money, like not in good use, but you continue to reinvest. Yeah. And then you focus on exactly where, that's really, I like that.
We were like, you know, we were already broke at that time. Like I didn't have any money at all. And so it was very easy to reinvest everything. Cause like genuinely, like Vol and I, like when we were like taking our first initial risks, I remember the day very clearly. Like we both worked from home. This was pre-COVID. So working from home was like a blessing to us. You know, it was like damn, like nobody works from home. And the fact that we get to work from home, this is like, to me, it was like a sign from God that was like, this is your opportunity, go and get it, you know? So like, and we caught ourselves when we were working from home slacking, we both wanted it just as bad, but like I'm not a morning person, so I would turn off my camera and go back to bed, you know. And then I knew that I'm like, damn, I'm only holding myself back from my results. So we opened up an office, right? Rent was only like $250, very small office, you know. And that, like, even though we had the ability to work from home, we shifted our work mentality to work at an office together to hold ourselves accountable from doing the tasks, you know. And so I remember the day clearly. Bala's girlfriend at the time, now his wife, basically we were talking with her, trying to like saying like, hey, well, what are the risks of opening an office so early, like prematurely? We're making like maybe $300, like all of our revenue into an office. like what are the risks, you know? Oh, well, if we get screwed over and let's say we lose all of our clients and you and I both have to pay $150 a month for the next 2 years for our lease, you know? Oh, that's not too bad. Let's do it. Best decision of my life. The best decision I've ever made. And so it's like the entire mentality I had at DAVA was to reinvest everything, because like I already had nothing, you know? Like maybe like I was a good saver, you know? I was a frugal guy, so I had like maybe $2,000-3,000 in the bank, like personal savings. And like, but I like, to me that was nothing. It was just like I can lose all 4,000 and like, what am I, fucking 21? You know, it's like I have time to rebuild. I wasn't even 21. I think I was 20. You know, I know I was like 19 when I started, and then 20, and then I remember turning 21 in my second office.
And I guess so. That's what they mean, right? You have nothing to lose, especially like if you're starting this. Like, what else? You know, it's like either take this, and I think that also to me, it means like you left your comfort zone of being at your home. And now it's just like, oh, I have to kind of, I'm doing it for us, right? It's for you and your co-founder. But mostly for you, because like you said, you weren't a morning person, and you're like, I'm gonna get myself out of there, because now you're driving, which you didn't have to, but that really explains kind of like you saw that and you knew that if you were to stay home, then nothing would have. And how long, you know, who knows how long it would have taken to actually started that company and where you're at now, you know?
I don't think we would have been here today if it wasn't for that first initial like decision of opening an office. Because it, like, being from home is too comfortable. It's like he even admitted, like, late, like I think it was months later, he admitted that like a lot of the times we were supposed to be studying, he was playing games on his phone and just slacking off. And like we were both saying like, and I would tell him like, oh yeah, I'm gonna study and watch this course, like okay, and I just go back to bed. I was a sleeper, you know. So he was more of a morning person, so he gets up and plays games and didn't study either. So now that we were in the same office, it like completely changed the mentality. It was was like the best decision I've ever made. It was the first initial risk that take us far.
And did you keep did you keep each other accountable? Like, was that like, hey, let's
back then or now?
Back then, I guess back then and now, right? But was it more back then, right? Because you're two. I'm sure you were both the same age, right? Like young and having an office, and so how was it to keep yourself accountable? Were you each other kind of telling, hey, like, let's go talk to some clients, let's do this, or would you also wanting to give yourself that freedom because you're young, like, let's play a bit of video games, so what is it that you were doing to hold each other accountable?
I think most importantly, we both wanted it bad enough. Like I have peers and acquaintances around me that say they want it and they don't. I know they don't because like I went like knocking on doors. I begged people on Instagram, messaging people like, hey, let me edit your videos for free in exchange for mentorship. I drive to these mentors' houses and, like I would like break down doors for small opportunities. And I have people that message me all the time that are like, okay, can you help me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I never hear from them again. It's like, they don't want it bad enough. If you really wanted it, it's like you would find the opportunity to do it. And so him and I both wanted it really badly. People say they want it badly. That's not true. Two is we always held each other accountable because there was like, although we both wanted it very badly, motivation and discipline comes in waves. There's some days I wake up in the mornings, I'm like, I'm going to go and work every minute of the day because I need to. And there was days where I'm like, damn, like, is this even worth it? Like, this sucks. I'm like, when I quit my job, it's like we were working so hard and then we got fired from our job, almost fired. We had to quit. And it's like making the same amount of money after working fucking like 16-hour days, it's demotivating. So, but fortunately for us, the days that I came to work unmotivated, he'll come in and be like, come on, man, get up. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. And the days he'll come to work unmotivated, I'll be the one to push him forward. Every morning we texted each other like, come on, man, wake up. Let's get this bread. Let's keep pushing harder. Every single morning for like 2 years straight. I don't know where those messages went. We definitely don't message each other like now, like, good morning, man. Let's keep going. Let's work hard, but back then it was like, we both wanted it so badly. I have a video recording of me like being up at like 5 a.m., fully clothed and like my like nice like t-shirt or whatever, not t-shirt. It was like a collared shirt and calling him. And he's barely waking up. Like, bro, come on, man. We got to get up and work. And it's like, and you can tell it like from his voice that he's like, okay, let me get up, man. Like, let's do it. Every single day was like that for like 2 years,
Oh man, that's awesome. And I feel like it's something. So I want the listeners to know it's like you gotta try, right? Like I messaged you, like and for me it's like the worst that can happen, you say no, and then this never happens, right? Yeah. But if I didn't try, then I would have never known, and I would have been like, eventually down the road, I would be like, yeah, well actually let me try again and whatever. But I think that's something that to know is like you got to keep trying, and that's what it is. The rejection. Sometimes I get rejected, or sometimes exactly what you say, right? I message them like, hey, do you want to be? It's like, oh yeah, and then like they ghost me, and I'm like, all right, well, cool. For me, I take that as a rejection because it's like they don't know how to say probably no, but they also want to be nice about it. But anyways, I
mean, like how many times did I miss my appointment here? Like this, like our third time trying, Yeah,
I was like, man, I was like, it's just a no. But no, I totally understand. Like it's like you have your business and then you also have a life. I'm gonna expect like, oh well, yeah, he's gonna work Monday through Friday, and then he has gonna have all this time because maybe this is your time. So that's why I really appreciate that. You taking this bit of a time and making it happen. So
of course.
No, but so what let's saying about those acquaintances and not executing, is that something like what's something that you would say to those that aren't executing on an idea or a vision that they have currently?
So when someone comes to me that isn't executing, what do I tell them?
Yeah.
The truth is, it's like nobody ever executes, like genuinely. Like if like 95% of people I ever meet are not executors. So it's like if you ask me what I tell them, I don't tell them anything because it's like it's a waste of time. Okay. It's like I want to help people. I want to help people start businesses. But if you can't get yourself to get out of bed and go, it's like there's nothing I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with people that they're like, hey, I want to start this. What should I do? What's my first steps? And I tell them like a roadmap, step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you do these 4 steps, which I can accomplish in one singular day, come talk to me again. I'll give you the next 4 steps. Yeah. Never happens. The first 4 steps never happen. So it's like, I've learned from mistakes. It's just I spent hours and hours talking to individuals about what they need to do, and they come like 3 months later, and it's like, oh, did you ever do it? Oh no, haha. And it's like, okay, I wasted my time.
Yeah.
You know. So the truth is, I don't really talk to people that don't execute, and if I do, it's like friendship talking, conversating. I'm not here to persuade people to execute. If you can't execute, don't even think about entrepreneurship. It's like level 1, like step number 1 is execute.
Yeah.
Do it wrong. You know, it's okay to edit that video wrong. It's okay to start a podcast incorrectly. It's okay to not know what to do. That's okay. The problem is not doing it. That's the problem, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I kind of, notice is all this is started because if I, I'm like, I have a camera sitting there. Why wouldn't I just start something, What is that camera? It's the ROI on that is nothing if it's just sitting in the closet,
Exactly.
And so, and I mean, at the moment, it's just also this is learning skills and trying to figure out how to do this on my own, But going back, I feel like that is, I agree with that because you have those conversations. It's just like nowhere. But for me, it's like, I try to still like maybe I can spark something, but it makes sense totally. Like those executors are going to execute. I mean, those persons that don't execute are not going to do it.
It's like what I see. It's like because I'm assuming that this is a podcast for entrepreneurs, right? Like entrepreneurs, people that want to start businesses, or what is this podcast primarily targeting?
So the target for this one is just like entrepreneurs and their how they started their business, but also kind of the motivational, inspirational type of stuff. So that way, you have what you're saying and kind of like from the beginning, and how you continue and what you're continuing to do. So that's kind of like the.
Like the reason why I say that on execution, it's because like it's just from bad experiences. Like it's a huge waste of time for me to sit down and someone that doesn't if I know they don't execute, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like if you genuinely want me to give like attention to someone, like you can tell in my voice because I get aggressive because I want people to succeed. If I don't care about your success, someone will tell me something like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Good luck, man. Let's see it happen." But the truth is, it's like someone that needs to be told to execute or be told to be motivated or be told to get up and go get it simply don't have what it takes to do it, period. It's like you have to fail. Like you genuinely have to fail to understand it. You want to rent cars, or you want to start a business, or maybe you want to start a detailing company or cut grass. It doesn't matter what it is. Like get the hell up and start cutting grass. Who cares if you do it wrong?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you give them a full refund. And what did you do? You learned. So you improve the next time. And it's like people don't want to fail. And if you don't want to fail, like if you don't want to fail, it's such a waste of time. It's a huge like it's impossible to fail. Impossible.
No. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's I like that because it is the fear of failure for someone I feel just cripples them, and so just but the entrepreneurs like yourself and anyone that executes on that is like I'm going to fail, but I'm going to learn from that. And you also. I don't really need like that high end stuff, to get started on something. It's like, that person could just, I seen some little kids here. They just borrow the owner's mower and they cut grass and they make $10-15,
Exactly.
So that's like, I feel like those little entrepreneurs just figuring it out and growing into eventually, like when they get older, be like, hey, if I did it without even having a mower and getting my ass off, I can do it with anything, So.
Exactly. I mean, like content creators that I have, they pay at minimum $2,000 a month for us to edit their videos. And what do they film on? iPhones.
What?
Yes. Big creators film on iPhones, and that's what pisses me off about people. It's like people will message me like, "I want to start content. What camera should I buy? Why are you buying a camera?"
Yeah.
It's like to make you feel better.
Yeah.
It's like I get the idea that like once you invest money, you want to make it worth, so you're dedicated. That's a whole different mindset, right?
Yeah,
I'm that way a little bit. It's like if I invest the money on these vitamins, or like if I invest the money on this gym membership, then I have to go.
Correct.
And like just now, I just got out of the chiropractor right before this. I told you about this.
Yeah.
And it's like I just spent $170 for me and my girl. Well, for just my girlfriend. Mine's free because I'm a boxer. And I spent $170. I'm like, well, now you better make it worthwhile. You just invested that money. So if you're that person that's like, I have to invest money to make it happen, great. But the truth is, content creators still use like big ones use their iPhones. They send me content on their iPhones, and so it's like. These people making a ton of money, paying a ton of money for someone to edit their videos. Why are you crying about it's because I don't have a camera. Like, shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I appreciate it. Okay, so what was like, was there like a
Wait, I think it's important to mention that the camera died, so...
Oh, you don't want to mention that?
Camera died, so, we may change subjects, so...
we completely just... But I'll make sure to do it, make it, fix it at the end here. I guess we have to go with a different question here because was that so? What would you say? What was the biggest challenge for you when starting your business? You and your co-founder, like what was
the biggest challenge? That's a good question. The reason why it's a hard question to answer is because it's been a minute now. You know, like I only think about my challenges today, and like I can answer that question so quickly. But like right now, I think the biggest challenges when we first started. I don't know. I feel like the only challenge that we had, which we did great, is just like executing. You know, it's like marketing. It's like, who knows if you're going to do marketing right? Nobody fucking knows the perfect rule on how to bring in clients. Nobody. So like, yes, that was hard. Building the website was hard. Every single part of business was hard. I'm not a coder. We had to build a website. You know, it's like, I'm not a salesman. I was a salesman. Bala wasn't a salesman. I wasn't a video editor. You know, I wasn't all of these things. So it's like, to ask what's the hardest challenge, it's like in entrepreneurship, everything's a challenge. Everything right now, like as we speak, I'm an accountant. I'm an IT guy. I'm a video editor. I'm a leader. I'm a coach. I'm everything. You know, and it's like, and even with a big team, I have just under 60 employees. I still do a lot of these things. So it's like people think it's like, oh, I just need to hire this or no, you just need to get yourself out there and do it. And even if you do it wrong, at least you're doing it. So the challenge was just how much you have to consume and what you have to do. It's like you have to do the website, you have to speak to clients, you have to sell the clients, you have to edit the videos, you have to work 16 hours a day plus. You know, the challenge is just like how, I'm not going to say overwhelming because it's not, but it's like how many things you have to just, you know, how often you have to get out of your comfort zone. I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder. I'm not a designer. I'm not a video editor. I became a video editor. I became a developer. I became an entrepreneur. I became a leader because I had to, not because I wanted to.
Okay. No, I like that because you know, hearing different answers to that, it's not all the same. And it's like, even though you now have employees, you know, it's like you're still, you know, trying to get there and continue, because I feel with marketing is always changing, right? Like you can be like, especially with the algorithm, how everything works with the social media. So I feel like it's good to continue and staying and learning, you know. So I like that. I really like that answer. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are just starting out now with, you know?
Do you want the truth?
I mean,
you know,
I think I just want. I mean, it's just
because the truth, the truth hurts. That's why I ask that, because it's like, if someone comes to me and says, you know, what advice can you have? I would literally say, it's like, it depends. It depends on what people define as success. Because success means different to everybody. It's like, success can be $1 million. Success could be a healthy relationship. Success can be a happy life. It's like, what does success mean? Maybe success to you is just quitting your full-time job. Whatever it is and wherever you want to be and whatever success means to you, you have to 10x it, and you have to work 10 times as hard as what you think you would have to do. So for me, like, I wanted to, you know, I set ridiculous types of goals, like ridiculous goals. My business officially started in May of 2019. Right, May. Okay. That was the day that I went in and like took out the LLC and the entity and like made it like legal. Technically, you know. So May of 2019, right? I told myself by summer I have to make the same income that I have. So basically May, because it was May 5th exactly, or May 4th or something. But so May, so you have all of May, June, July. Like 3.5 months. I have 3.5 months to make the salary of what I did at my full-time job, making $12 an hour. And I told myself, like, I'm all in on this. Like, I'm going to, you know, because 3 months isn't realistic. Let's be real. You know, you have 3 months to quit your job and make the same salary. So what Val and I did, right? And I don't, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't recommend this. I recommend you do whatever the fuck you have to. You have to break the rules to succeed. And so I was Vala's manager at this job. And so what happened is that entire summer, it gets very busy. And so me as Vala's manager, I took him out of all of the work, the call center job. And him and I just worked on our business the whole time. And because I was his manager, no one ever caught on until the end of summer. And that's where I said, it's like, I almost got fired or you know, quit because at the end of the summer, we were supposed to have all these projects ready for them. Nothing got done. And so it's like, it was like all in or all out. So we're giving myself the the timeline, 3 months, it's like I only spent 1 hour of my day working on my actual job, 1 hour. And it was going to catch up to me by the end of summer, and I knew it. So I went so hard. And literally, I remember tweeting this. If you scroll down somewhere through my Twitter, you'll see I say like, oh, I'm finally making the same amount as me and Vala make combined, right? It's like, when is the right time to quit? Because we finally make the same amount as our jobs. And I was excited. I remember this moment. I was excited because I was about to get paid double my salary, because it was just like, finally. And then like the next, literally, it's as funny as it sounds, the next week they pulled me in, wanted to see our projects, and they saw that we did absolutely nothing all month, all summer long.
Yeah.
And they told us, you either have to work in office moving forward, or you can't work here anymore. And we couldn't work in office anymore because we genuinely had enough clients where we're editing all day. It's like if they saw us editing all day, and literally it wasn't even a choice anymore.
Yeah.
So we quit, and so it's like, first define what success means to you. And if I don't know what people are looking for in this podcast. If you're going for like my mentality, I shoot for like not even the moon. Like I shoot further than the moon. Like I shoot for things that aren't even realistic to most people, but if some people just want to quit their 9 to 5, then you have to assume like you have to make like at least $2 million, $5 million at least, and it's like, and at the end of the day, you'll always want more. So my piece of advice is to like go all in. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything else. I didn't hang out with friends. All I did when I was working on my business was work and drink. Believe it or not. Yes, I partied on the weekends. I drank twice a week. I was an alcoholic. I drank and partied all the time. That was my only way of like socializing. So I'd work 16 hours every single day from the day I woke up to the day I slept. Literally from like 10 a.m. because I woke up late. Remember, I'm not a morning guy. 10 a.m. and then I'd work till like 3 or 4 a.m. or sometimes 2 a.m. It kind of depends on the day, but every single day. And then when Wednesdays hit, we would drink. I don't know why Wednesdays was like known as our friends. It's
not
like
even Thursdays, like you just did.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, even Thursday.
Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, just blacked out, drunk, drinking, partying all the time. It was like my way of like finding balance in my life, and it was only on nights. It was only for like 3 hours. So, and then the next morning you see me in like fucked up clothes, working again Sunday morning.
Damn.
I have photos of that too. So
that's good. And do you look back and you're like, kind of where you're at now, and just see like, even though whatever how your life was before and to what it is now, like it's, it's sort of, I'm sure it's totally different,
I still get random like moments where I forget what I have, like it's easy to forget where you come from sometimes, because back then, like, life was hard. I just never realized it because I enjoyed the journey. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every part of it. I enjoyed blacking out. I enjoyed working every single minute of the day. I enjoyed having no life. It was fun. Looking back, like, it's small things. Like, it's small moments when we realize it. Like right now, last year, I booked an entire trip to Hawaii for my family, paid for everything. It was like $15,000 for everything. And it's like, that's it. It's like I couldn't imagine a world where I could have done that 2 years ago. And then this year, now there's 3 owners. I don't know if you know that, but there's 3 owners now. There's me, Volet, and a new owner that we brought in. His name Damien. He was the second employee we've ever had. And now there's 3 owners, and all 3 of us make, I would say, a very good income. Yeah. So, it's, I don't want to unappreciate where I came from, right? But it's like, we're throwing money around like I never was able to have. Like, he buys a $600 Balenciaga shirt, and I'm like, why would you pay that? And it's like, but like, and then we talk about like numbers that are so much higher. It's like, we should just drop 10,000. Now we're booking another Hawaii trip. I think in October of this year. Okay, and it's like, I never thought that you would just throw around tens of thousands of dollars like it's nothing, know. And I'm not saying it's nothing. Like, yes, it's like, damn, 10,000, whatever, out the door, But it's like, I come from like a background of like, I remember my someone asking me for just $200, and that was everything I had. Like, for me, I had to work 2 weeks straight, hard hours to make $200. I was getting paid minimum wage, and so it's like, for me to give $200, I was like, fuck, like it was a hit, And like now it's like, I just paid almost $200 for the chiropractor thing, just barely, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's good for my health, so I'm gonna take it, Right. So I do forget sometimes like how different life was, and the truth is, it's like, I get a lot of moments where I'm just like, wow, like, I'm so thankful for where I'm at. Like, even if I don't progress from here, it's like, I'm so happy where I'm at, but like, there's no way I'm going to stop, I'm still working so hard every single day.
And I think it's like, you got to enjoy it, right? You put in all this work, you put in all this time, those hours, and for you to, or even someone to, I mean, I'm not sure if you have even family or friends that say that, like, why are you spending so much? But I feel like, why wouldn't you? You did all this, like, So it's like you and your co-founder, and I really like how you bringing in your second employee. You know, your employee to be
an owner.
An owner is because like, you know, I heard those like, oh, I need my employees to work harder. It's like, and then I heard in some podcasts like, well, are they owner? Do you give them some ownership? It's like, no. Then how do you expect them to bust their ass if you're not? You know, like if it's your company and they're just getting paid whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So
he definitely deserved it. He worked very hard, you know, like he obviously wasn't an owner. So like, you know, hourly at the time, now he's salaried. Now he's making the exact same as us. It's like, it's possible definitely to get yourself up there, but, you know, he deserved, like, I cannot tell you enough, like he deserved his position. Like he knows he's an entrepreneur at the end of the day. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be an owner.
Yeah.
And so it's like, he built enough value in himself. I can't say that I gave it to him. That's like, I can't, because I didn't. He earned himself up there. Like he brought enough value through himself on the things he learned and the things he did that it's a no-brainer to have him as an owner. For like, he didn't have to buy himself in. We gave him ownership. You know, we gave him equity. So it's like, in order to do that, you have to provide a lot of value. And that's exactly what he did. And that's where a lot of people are confused. People want equity. People want stake and do the bare minimum. You know, like they do what their job is. You know, it's like, if you do bare minimum work, you're going to get bare minimum results, period. You know, he earned his way. I wouldn't have given it to him if he didn't add enough value, period. I don't care how long you work with me. It's like, you have to provide the value. You have to make yourself valuable to the company or to who you are. If you're not valuable, you're replaceable. Correct. So I'm just, you know, get rid of him and bring someone else. I can't just get rid of him and bring someone else. And he knows that he's valuable, you know? So it's like, he earned his way there, and he deserves everything he's ever gotten from us, and he deserves everything he has today. You know?
That speaks a lot, you know, the person, and just, you know, your leadership with that. And just with like how you mentioned with the, oh my gosh, I just always space it out. But no, I think I really like that, you know, how you're sharing all that about your employee and how he's grown and all that. But you also do events too. Like you're around for the community, right? I think you also did the BYU. Did you do BYU or UVU? Was it? Didn't you do like a? So,
well, I speak sometimes. You know, like I spoke to a couple, like I think like 1,000 people the other day, like a couple weeks ago. We host the creator events. So at our old office, we like flew down like 6 creators. We, you know, like had a talk, had our sponsorships. You know, we drank together. We had like a small free bar, and you know, got to know our creators. And so we'll throw events here and there. You know, we've had people show up to them, and it's always a good time because you get to meet these creators and see that they're just another human. You know, a human that's just another hard worker. Just like we're all the same at the end of the day. You know.
Yeah, and I think also with this is knowing that everyone's human, right? So everyone that comes into here, depending whatever companies they have or employees, it's like at the end of the day, you're human, and you know you're gonna make mistakes, and you're also gonna learn, and you're gonna provide, and you're gonna do so much, you know, with it. So,
it's like mindset. It's just everybody's the same. Like I couldn't think of a world. When I started entrepreneurship, I couldn't think of a world that like I had it less fortunate than other people. There's people that are way less fortunate than I am. Don't get me wrong. But I had nothing more than food on my table, a bed to sleep on, and a roof over my head. And that's it. You know, it's like there's so little excuses for the world that like made like people are like, oh, well, it's because I'm in this toxic relationship, or oh, it's because I don't have like wealthy parents. Oh, people come up with so many excuses, and it's like the thing that separates you from everybody else is it's mindset. You know, it's like it's ridiculous. Anybody that comes to me with excuses, you just know that, you know, it's not possible for them to succeed. You know, it's like excuse victim mentality is in my mind is pathetic. You know, it's like, oh, it's because it's unfair because this industry was dying, so I just got unlucky, or AI is taking over. It's such a bunch of excuses.
You know? And I got so much to say. I had someone with the AI, because it's like, you know, saying AI is taking over and it's gonna take over some, you know, businesses, right? It can be any market, but it's like, no, you can use that towards your advantage. Exactly. Right? And I'm sure, you know, a person like you and your co-founders, like you're using that towards.
We're using AI in all of our systems and processes.
So, and even for me personally, it's like it's cut time of what I do here, because I also use AI. You know, it's just like it's there for you, and why not take it and make it? And instead of like making yourself that victim mentality, oh man, I'm just gonna give up because it's here. It's like, no, like you can even scale up higher your company because of that, right?
Exactly.
It's like it's more something that a human can be capable of. That is now, you know.
Exactly.
on that. So that's a separate thing. But yeah, I really like how AI is brought up because it should be. It's here and it's here to stay.
Yeah, you know, you have to adapt or die. It's simple. Ask Blockbuster, ask, Redbox. It's like, if you don't change, you're going to die. It's simple, so it's like things never go according to plan. Never, ever. Like, I'm training my leaders right now in my departments, right? I'm having a lot of leadership meetings. And the thing I tell them is like every single day, plans change. I meet with them on Wednesday. This is the plan. This is how we're going to execute. Let's go. Thursday, we get new information. It's like, this isn't going to work. We have to adapt, change, pivot, and go. And I'm trying to train them that mentality that it's like, no matter what life throws at you, you have like, you can't just say like saying no is not an option. It's just not. Yeah, like, I'm tired, then get up and suck it up. Yeah. That's what it is, And it goes with anything in life. Maybe it's not just for business. Like, why does it have to be for business? It's like, I'm boxing right now. My priority is business and boxing. Like, that's literally my two priorities right now. So like, I'll go home completely exhausted. My face is beat up. I have bruises up here and like a big bruise down here. Yeah. I'm tired. I just want to take one day off. I have not taken one singular day off since the day I started training because I know I have this fight coming up. So it's like, I'm tired. I just want one day of rest. And it's like, no. I can't allow because it's not the days that you feel motivated and do something that count. It's the days that you don't want to do it and you still get up and do it anyways, and it's like, and I lead by example, it's like, I tell people, like right now, the people listening to this, it's like, I tell them, it's like, we'll get up and do it and suck it up. Yeah. But if I'm not doing the same thing, then I'm not preaching what I say. Yeah. So it's like, boxing is something new to me, brand new. I started in January, right? It's mid-March. And it's like same mentality as I had in business. It's like, I'm exhausted. I just want to go to bed. I'm like, literally everything inside my body's telling me to like relax and to not do it. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. I don't care what Johnny says. I don't care what Bobby says. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's unhealthy to work out 2-3 times a week. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what anybody says. It's like, it's like, that's what everyone says. Oh, like when I first started, everyone would tell me how unhealthy it was for me to work as much as I did. And it's like, well, fuck you. It's like, I don't care what you say. It's like, I don't care what the doctors say. And people will look at me and be like, oh, well, the doctors say you sleep 8 hours a day. Well, are you where you want to be? Are you doing the things you want to accomplish? No. Then why are you sleeping 8 hours a day? Like, it's such a waste of time. Like, you genuinely like, fuck what anyone says, It's like, you just get up and do, so.
And it's funny because like, it is what you preach, what you say, because for you, like, I saw your social, you posted a story at midnight, almost 1 o'clock. I'm like, and for me, I was like, damn, that's fucking badass, because it's like, who the fuck else is like getting up and doing shit that's gonna it's doing good for your team, for whatever it is, right? Your leadership. And so for me, it's like, that's fucking badass. Like, and the same reason I was up, because I was also working on some shit,
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's why I saw that, because it's like, and so anyways, I really like that, because for me, it's like, dude, whatever you're saying right now is you're fucking doing it.
Oh yeah, and like, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Like that was just another day. Like, there's nothing special about that day. Like, that was just one of those days. I'm like, hey guys, let's take a story together. But it was midnight, 1 a.m. and I had a leadership meeting. Yeah. And so like, there's some, like, it's not like just because I'm an entrepreneur CEO with 50 employees that like, oh, I now get to rest. It's like, no, like, I still want to progress. So I have like this next coming week, I'm working graveyards. I'm working from 6 to 2 a.m. Just to like catch up on work on my international team. And it's like, you just have to suck it up and do it. Like, I just had a conversation with my girlfriend. It's like, this next week, I'm probably not going to see you at all because I have to work a lot. And it's like, people don't realize that it's not easy, and the people that complain about even taking 2-3 hours to read a book or to work don't have a flying chance. Like, go and work at McDonald's, because that's your best bet, like, you're not going to succeed in entrepreneurship. People think it's easy, and it's the furthest from the truth.
And that's what it is, right? Like, just, you found this, I made this available this little time here, but for me, it's like, dude, it's not like you made it and I'm fucking done with it. You're like, I made it and I'm still going, because you have a bigger picture. You're what you're planning to see eventually with your business and anything else that comes with your boxing and whatever it is, right? But for me, it's like, I appreciate those times where I have guests like that, because it's like, man, thanks for putting me in there with 1 hour or whatever it is, and plus the driving. Anyways, what I'm saying? It's just like, it speaks a lot and it means a lot. So
it's just forcing myself to stay into rhythm. It's like, it doesn't matter how big or small channels or podcasts are. I make it an obligation. This is work to me right now. Me being here, I'm working. but I enjoy this, you know, like it's not
Yeah,
like who says work has to be a negative thing?
Yeah.
It's like work is fun. I enjoy work. So it's like when I was at the chiropractor, I was working. When I was boxing and every day I train, I'm working. I don't see it as like it's a hobby and I'm having fun. And you know, it's like no, I'm working, you know?
Yeah.
So me being here is work. Me driving here is work. This is just part of work, you know? So I like right when I get out of here, what's the first thing I'm doing? I'm gonna have to meal prep my food. I have to eat properly. I have to cut 20 pounds in 2 months. So it's like I don't even get a break in my meals. I don't get a break in my workouts. I don't get a break at my work. Nothing. There is no time to take a break. You know, I don't rest. I work hard every single day.
Badass. I knew once I heard about you and seen your stuff that I was like, this is gonna be some good shit that's, you know, that I'm gonna learn and everyone's gonna be listening and also learn.
Yeah. How do you know Adam?
Adam is
Adan.
Adan. Yeah. So his wife is
B.
Yeah, Bia is my wife's cousin.
Okay.
So, and how it started is I'm also like to just jibber jabber, say a bunch of stuff, right? Like what I like to do and this vision and stuff like that. So Adam was like, oh yeah, like my nephew, he's this, you know, he has his own company. And I'm like, who is he? You know? So then I started researching him, man. And then I saw YouTube videos, like some YouTube videos that you had like on, I can't remember where exactly, but you explain your business, you show your office. And so I'm like, this is some interesting, you know? And I'm like, I really want to hear like his mindset. What's he have on here, you know? Because like the way Adan explains it is just like, you know, and it's exactly how he explains it, that you're very knowledgeable. You have very entrepreneur and just all around, you know, just a good, genuine person, because it's like, he's, you know, I talked to him about something and he has time and he came over and explained everything, you know? Yeah. So that's, for me, it's like I knew, okay, I have to listen to what David has to say.
Yeah. So. No, I try, like, I mean it when I say it's like, I do want to help people, especially family, you know? It's like, that's not an argument. I'm going to help family. But like, it's like I try to be as helpful as I can. The problem is that like I know I'm not creating content and I know I'm not doing these things that I should be doing to help people yet, because right now I'm focused on my business, but I know the day will come where I'm going to sit down and try to help people in like terms of content, educate people on the things they need to do. You know, it doesn't matter what background you come from. You know, it's like Adan, you know, like he had questions for his website, like why wouldn't I make the time to help someone? Like it's you know, and Adan is an executor, like he has his own business. It's already going, so it's not a waste of my time to go and talk to him about it. What's a waste of my time is someone that comes to me and says I have an idea. It's like, okay, I have a million ideas, you know? It's like, do something with it. And show me there's something that exists. I wouldn't have came here if there wasn't no podcast, you know? If there was no mic, or if there was no, like, let me see your first show. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah. You know, it's like, what? You know? It's like I haven't started. It's not even out there. It's like, I just want to. It's like, I just want to for fun, you know? Because, you know, people don't understand. For me, I understand, dude, like you said, this is your job. You're spending time, you know? Yeah. But the reason why it, you know, started is like having those conversations with Adan, you know, and it's like, dude, we have so much ideas. Why aren't we making stuff happen, you know? Yeah. And that's what's kind of like for me is just jumping. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I don't even have it, but I'm gonna figure this out, how to edit videos, you know. And that's how I've been executing stuff. And so I know I want to learn from those people that did execute. Yeah. Because it's like, why would I learn from, like how you said, you know, why would I learn from someone who's not executing? Yeah. You know, it's nothing. But I also bring in, you know, even people that don't have that much following, because I want to learn, you know, they just start off their business, but I want to learn and get to know exactly, because they did that first step of you never know. Like, if you learn something, they always say it's like when you go into like to speak with people, try to be the dumbest one in the room. You know, just try you know, I don't consider myself stupid and I don't consider myself smart, you know, so I come in like ready to learn. It's like, you don't know what you're going to learn from someone. I've had like people with way smaller businesses than me that'll give me advice. I'm like, damn, like, okay, let me look into that. You know, it's like you learn so much. You don't know when you're going to catch it. So keep your ears open at all times and be ready to learn. You know, it's like it's surprising what you learn from people that you didn't think you'd learn something from. You just have to open your, like, just listen for once in your life, you know. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying no, no, and that's, you know, and I also had, you know, someone tell me, it's like, dude, don't even worry about bringing in anyone that doesn't have a following or doesn't have I mean, an entrepreneur doesn't have a following. For me, I'm like, dude, but I see it, people like you, right? You and other guests that have a big following. Well, it's if I say no to them, or if I'm not bringing those one in, then for me, it's like, then you shouldn't even said yes to me, you know? Like, it's like, so for me, it's being on that position where I'm like, and I had someone that
I posted something like, oh man, I would love to check out my social, and I'm like, dude, I'll do it. Hey man, do you want to come in and be in on an episode? And for that person, he was shocked that he's like, wow, like, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even that big,
Yeah.
you know, but I have a vision, and it's gonna happen, you know.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Like I think people need to put their egos aside and just,
Yeah.
you know, like just be as nice, just be human. You know, I think it pisses me off to see someone that's succeeding or that has a big following or has a lot of money that just like their egos get so big that they can't spend an hour of the day. It's like, that's so stupid to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you have to, at least for me, you know, like you have to remember from where you come from and, you know that like at the end of the day, it's like you have to just be human and help people, interact with humans. You know, it's like that's the point of life.
Yeah. What's something that you want to leave the listeners and viewers with? Like, I know you said the other like entrepreneur, but just to anyone just out there, like, what's something that
some things I want to tell people. Assuming this is an entrepreneurial podcast, I'd say you just have to go 150%. You know, like I'm not. It sucks to say, but it's like if you like I said, success is defined differently for everybody. But if you want anywhere near because if you don't know, I have a multi-million-dollar business. We bring multi-million dollars a year in revenue, and so it's like, if that's too much success for you, I understand that. But if you want to be anywhere near me, you can't be thinking $1-2 million a year. You have to be thinking 10, 20, and you have to execute like your life depends on it. Like that's the last thing. Like execution is the one key. Execution and mindset are the two things you need at all to succeed, period. You have to want it more than you want to breathe. Like when you're underwater and you can't breathe, you're not thinking about if you left the oven on at home. You know, it's like you're not thinking of like, oh shit, what am I going to eat for dinner later? It's like, no, there's one thing in your mind when you're drowning, and that's air. I need air. That's how you have to think of business. It's like if you actually want to succeed and succeed quickly, because you can succeed very slowly and slowly fix your relationship or slowly build your business. That's great, you know. But how do you build a multi-million-dollar business in the span of 1 to 2 years? It's like the only way to do that is to want it more than you want to breathe. It's like I'd be up at after working 16 hours. I remember this day very good because there's many days. I even had my journal that I'd journal for 6 months straight, you know. So I would read through my journal and remember where my mindset was. And after working 16-hour days from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., I remember going home, laying in my blankets, and then ready. My body's already tired, but I had a little hint of energy left, you know. And I'm thinking of the possibilities of what if I fail. Yeah. I'm like, nah, that can't happen. Threw my blankets out, picked up my book, and started writing notes, you know, writing everything I need to do. And, you know, and I have a picture on my phone. I documented a lot of my journey, but it's like, that's the mindset you need. It's like you don't go to bed and rest because you're tired. You have to go to bed and rest because your body collapses. Yeah. You know, and it's like that's something I still do to this day. It's like every hint of energy I have, if I have energy at midnight, I'll get up and call my team and we'll jump on a meeting. You know, it's like that's what happened that day. It's not like I planned my day to meet there. It's like, no, like I have energy. I'm not going to go to bed, and I'm going to meet, and I'm going to train, and I'm going to make my team better because we need to be better. Yeah. And so I think that's what people don't understand. It's like they're like, oh, well, work-life balance. Oh, it's because I need to do this. It's like, you know, it's like there's a reason why you don't succeed, and it's because you don't want it bad enough. You have to want it so bad that you genuinely your body collapses and you wake up and you do it again. You don't do it because I just want to let my muscles rest. No, I get out of boxing. I train 3 times a day sometimes. I hit heavy weights. I hit one gym of training, and then I hit another gym. Does that make sense? No, I'm not even exaggerating. No, this is today, you know, this is what I do, what I did yesterday. This is what I did Thursday. And so it's like, that's what people don't understand. People will come to me and be like, oh, it's not healthy. I think your camera turned off. Oh, shit. It's always something. Yeah. No, you're good. There we go. Okay. So, that's what I tell people, that it's like you have to work. If you actually want to succeed in what my definition of success is, you know, or anywhere near where I am, and people want to be even a fraction of what I am, you have to come in with that mentality. It's like, I'm not going to go to bed until my body just collapses, you know? And that's what happens. I just get home, my body's completely beat up. I barely have the energy to shower and brush my teeth and do my little night routine to make sure I stay, you know, hygienically clean. Then my body just, you know, and I just go to bed because I'm exhausted every single day. Then I wake up morning, you know, like sometimes I can't even feel my body. I'm like, all right, let's do it again. Get up and you go again. 100. The minute, for me, I'm not a morning person, so it's like I'll get a message from my coach at 9 a.m. It's like, hey, you want to train right now? And I'll put my phone down and I'll keep sleeping. I'm just not a morning person. But the minute I'm awake and I'm on my feet and I have my shoes on, there's nothing that will stop me from saying no ever. Yeah, let's get that camera on. You're good. You're good. Let me know once you're ready.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So it's like, even today, after everything, it's like I still have that mentality. It's like I get home and like I said, I'm not a morning person. I get a message. This happened 2 days ago. Yesterday. Literally yesterday, my coach messaged me at 9 a.m. Hey, let's train right now, or like let's train. And I just like I remember waking up briefly, reading my message. I put my phone down and went to bed. It's just because I'm not a morning person. But the minute my shoes are on, I like don't say no. Like I go all fucking night. And then it's like 1 a.m. and I'm like, damn, I want to train more. And what will I do? I'll get up and train more. That's the like any hint of energy you have to put all of it if you want to succeed. Because success isn't guaranteed. You know, so knowing that it's not guaranteed, it's demotivating sometimes. Like, damn, well, if it's not guaranteed, it doesn't matter how hard you work.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't care how hard you work. So might as well optimize your chances of success, and the only way to do that is to work as hard as you can. It's like if I work 16 hours, I'm going to learn something in those 16 hours. You know, I'm going to get better. I could lose this fight even with all this hard work I'm doing, you know. And if I'm going to lose it, at least allow me to do everything properly. I'm going to eat properly. I'm going to train every like waking, like I genuinely like all I want to do is train right now and eat. You know, I haven't eaten all morning. All I've had is a protein shake. And so it's like, if I'm going to lose this fight, I'm going to make sure I lose swinging, you know. It's like I don't want to go back and be like, oh, well, I could have trained more, I could have ate less, I could have no. It's like I lost this fight, but I gave it absolutely everything. And same goes for entrepreneurship and business and making money. It's like you may just lose the fight and you will never ever have an entrepreneurial life. That's something you have to be okay with in your mind. So at least allow yourself 10 years from now to be like, I genuinely tried everything possible. I DM'd everybody for this podcast. I did this. I worked every waking hour. I genuinely tried and it didn't work, and be happy with yourself that it didn't work. It's okay. And go on with your life. Be happy. There's like money doesn't mean happiness, you know? So that's literally what I have to tell people. It's like the odds of success are not the highest depending on people's, you know, definition of success. So optimize it. The only way to optimize is to literally like work every, like you, what I mean optimize, and some people aren't willing to take these sacrifices. Don't go to the gym. Don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, you know, it's like, why? Or yes, you could have a boyfriend, girlfriend. I chose not to, because I know that having a girlfriend is an investment of my time. Even 1 hour to be with him or her, not my case, but like for a girl, but in my case, like from 1 hour to me to be with a girl, it's an hour I could have spent working, and that's a sacrifice I'm making. And so it's like at the time I had relationships that I could have been in, girls that I liked and girls that liked me, and I chose to stay single because I know that even 1 hour of my time dedicated to them was a waste of time for what I wanted to succeed in. Does that make sense? So I avoided relationships. Now I'm in a relationship because, you know, I have more time and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But I think about it often. It's like, if I didn't have this relationship, I'd be boxing right now. I'd be training right now. I'd be working right now. But these are sacrifices you make. So you have, like, for me, it was so important that I literally dropped everything. The gym, seeing time with my family, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, love, you know, loneliness. I sacrificed everything. And it's like, if you're not willing to do that to yourself, great. You know, just don't expect my level of success. Simple. You know, it's like, that doesn't mean that you can't, you know, that doesn't mean that you can't find this type of like success. It's just like, it will either take longer or you won't find it at all. But like, my point of advice is like, risk everything, you know, it's like, give it all. So at least if you fail, you know that you tried your best. Like that's how I'm treating this boxing fight right now. I'm going to train every single day, chiropractor as often as I can, and taking care of my body, eating properly, macros, meal prep every single day. So if I fail, I know it wasn't lack of work. Simple, you know.
Wow. That's, and what other better way? What other better way to end this in such a like inspirational, motivational, like, and way of saying everyone's way of success is not the same, you know, but it's how hard and how the grind that you put into it. So, David, I mean, I want to just say thank you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate like everything that for you coming here and you know, and giving saying it so much that I, you know, hopefully listeners and I even myself won't go back and I know, man, I missed this, but oh man, like, and then kind of be thinking about it, because that's what it is. It's like my own journal that I'm going to have, you know, digital journal that I'm going to have, and I can go back and continue learning. So, thank you again. And you know, everyone, again, he's such a really inspirational, motivational person. And, you know, please follow him and see his work out there. You know, he has amazing work, and like with all this content creators. So again, appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.